Hey everyone, it's Trish and I'm back with another video. Now, a lot of you guys really liked my how I got into UCLA video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it up here. But a lot of you guys liked it so much that I got a lot of questions about reviewing people's statements or if they had any ideas on what I thought that they should write. So I figured I would just show you a video on what are the things that I was looking to write when I wrote my essay and what are things that I thought helped me stand out. Now, I kind of covered this briefly in my how I got into UCLA video, but this one is a little bit more in-depth, just gives you a little bit more tools and gives you more updates on how the essay is looking now versus how it looked when I was applying. Just a little disclaimer, these are kind of just things that personally helped me get into UCLA. These are not sponsored by UCLA at all. I'm not speaking on behalf of UCLA. These are just things that I thought worked for me. So without further ado, let's get started. So the statement of purpose for this UCLA application we are talking about is the School of Nursing application that you submit after you've already submitted your initial admissions essay. So this is specific to the School of Nursing. Since I've been there, they've added a few more requirements to their statement of purpose, or maybe I just didn't go to an info session. Who knows? And I'm just gonna go ahead and list them off for you since I have them pulled up here on my laptop. Things they're looking for is why you want to be a nurse. Now that's really important. That's kind of the basis of everything. But they've also given a few other things that they want to hear you talk about. Your goals for your nursing career, multicultural experiences you may have, bilingual ability, examples of responding to challenges or adversity, accomplishments, leadership, self-assessment for success, etc., etc. Now these are a lot of things. You're probably thinking, how do I write an essay that ties all of these elements in, that isn't too wordy, that kind of gives my story across? The biggest thing for me is keep it simple. You want to stick to the basis of your why. So I've broken down 4 important steps that you need to do when you first write this essay. The first tip that I have is you're going to start with the basics. You're going to write who are you and why nursing. I don't want you to write an essay just yet. I just want you to write your thoughts on why nursing. And remember that when you write this essay, everybody has a story of someone that they know that was in the hospital that has impacted them in some way. So what makes you different from that person and how are you going to spin that to your advantage? If you watched my video, mine wasn't too different. I talked about how my grandmother was a nurse, but I took something that was mundane, such as her hands, and I talked about them dancing as they were taking care of a patient. And then I tied in how my grandfather got into the ICU, and that's why I wanted to be an ICU nurse. Then you can really spin it back to you and why that was so impactful to you. My second tip would be why UCLA? So this is where you start to kind of highlight accomplishments about different things that you've done, and you can start to tie in those things that UCLA wanted. Bilingual activity, the multicultural experiences. You can keep it simple. It can be any volunteer work that you've done. You can tie that in with a multicultural experience where you had to shadow someone who was taking care of someone of a different culture that you've never taken care of before. It can be anything that you want it to be that ties in and weaves in well with the first part of your story. In talking about why I deserve to go to UCLA, I didn't really phrase it like that. I phrased it more on what are things that I did to kind of set me up for success, and talking about how I volunteered in different departments just to make sure that nursing was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to focus my essay on the story and really kind of making it so well-rounded they were able to get to know me as a person. I didn't laundry list any accomplishments or things that I had that didn't really feel like they had a home in my essay. I want to do that because that's something that the admission people could read in my resume that they make you write. The third thing I talked about is what UCLA has to offer. So I googled UCLA School of Nursing. They have this simulation lab that they're really proud of. Their simulation lab now is very cool. They have different equipment. I believe that there's a video that they talked about one of their simulation dummies that blinks. You can do assessments, check their pupils if they're reactive to light. I also talked about different groups that I would like to get involved in, like Alpha Tau Delta, nursing students at UCLA. If you actually look on the School of Nursing page, they have a page on all their nursing groups that you could possibly join. Then lastly, I tied that back. When I started my nursing essay, I talked about how I was from a small town. And so I tied that back to how in the future I would like to offer my skills as a nurse back to my hometown, because they didn't have a lot of the resources to have this kind of higher education nursing. It's kind of more curative, not preventative. And so I talked about how being in a place like UCLA could allow me those opportunities to bring them to a place that was more preventative with education and the things that I've learned versus curative. So those are my 4 basic things that I need to have in the essay, and that really needs to shine through for UCLA to accept me. Tell your story. This is a really important place for you to shine because you don't have an interview with any of the deans or the admissions counselors. But this is your place to kind of be well-rounded and show yourself in a light that they can see, and show what it is that you're passionate about and why. It's important in this space that you don't laundry list, that from start to finish your story is very cohesive. You're not talking about you and then this experience that you had, but then you don't relate it back to the end. Make sure that everything flows together and that you transition really well between the 4 parts that I talked about. This is a place that you want to write about challenges or adversities that you had that shaped your why. You may have had other challenges in your life, but they may not be so specific to nursing. If you would like to, you could find a way to tie them into nursing, but I suggest if that's too hard, then to just stick to why nursing, and that will give you a stronger point in your story. And my last tip is to just write from the heart. When I was writing my essay, I had been kind of writing this essay throughout the week. The week before it was due on a Monday, so I had school. My mom had to mail it in and get it postmarked, and it was a very, very big deal. So I remember I was talking to this guy and he had broken my heart, and I was like, I'm just gonna throw my whole life into UCLA and I'm gonna write this awesome essay to forget about him, because you know, this is what I've always wanted. That kind of gave me the push to really write from the heart, because at that moment I felt like that was the only thing I had. You know, I'm not sorry about it, which is why I'm talking about it. I know it's super duper embarrassing. That just gave me an opportunity to write from the heart, but also be like put under such immense pressure, because I was like, this is it. It's like all or nothing, you know? Everything happens for a reason. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was really helpful. If you have any more questions about writing your essay or questions about getting into UCLA, please go ahead and write in the comments down below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Okay, bye.